While Sergeant First Class Rebecca Torres was dodging Taliban bullets in Afghanistan, Karen Whitmore stole her family's 200-acre ranch and texted her a photo of a bulldozer parked directly on her grandmother's grave. Rebecca came home to find McMansions sprouting where cattle once grazed, with Karen standing there smirking, clipboard in hand. "Welcome home, soldier," she purred. "We improved your little property while you were playing war." Playing war. That taunt ignited the biggest mistake of Karen's civilian life. The ranch sat on a federal military land grant from 1943. Karen hadn't just stolen land. She'd committed what amounted to treason against a military family, a federal crime carrying life imprisonment. She thought she was bullying a helpless deployed soldier. Instead, she declared war on the entire U.S. Army. What would you do if someone bulldozed your family legacy while you served overseas? Drop a flag emoji if you think Karen got exactly what she deserved, because this story ends with federal agents at her door. My name is Sergeant First Class Rebecca Torres, and 3 months ago, I thought my biggest enemy was the Taliban. I was wrong. My real enemy was a 52-year-old soccer mom with a law degree, abandonment issues, and the moral compass of a used car salesman. The Broken Arrow Ranch, 200 acres of prime Texas hill country, had been Torres land since 1892. My great-grandfather Manuel earned it with blood in the Pacific Theater, building our legacy with calloused hands and government promises. When my grandmother Elena passed in 2018, she made me swear on her deathbed, "Mija, never let strangers take what's ours." I deployed to Afghanistan 3 weeks later, leaving the ranch in the care of Walt Kowalski, my 89-year-old neighbor, a Korean War vet, the kind of man who'd rather cut off his own hand than break a promise. "Don't worry, Becca," he said, gripping my shoulder with hands still strong from decades of ranch work. "This place will be exactly like you left it." That's when Karen Whitmore slithered into Wildflower Estates, the luxury subdivision next door. Picture every HOA horror story you've heard, then add a freshly divorced real estate lawyer driving a white Range Rover worth more than most houses. Within her first week, she filed county complaints about agricultural odors from my cattle. Week 2 brought noise violations over roosters that had crowed on that land for 30 years. By month 3, she hosted concerned neighbor meetings in her vanilla-scented living room, declaring the ranch was destroying property values. "Something needs to be done about the Torres situation," she said, waving manicured nails like a general plotting an invasion. The Torres situation, like my family, was a problem to solve. While I dodged mortars in Kandahar, Karen mined county records like she was hunting oil. She unearthed a vague 1970s covenant requiring residential conformity and weaponized it. She incorporated the Wildflower Estates Community Association, named herself president, and launched foreclosure proceedings against my non-conforming agricultural use. Notices went to the ranch address, where only cattle and Walt's failing eyesight lived. At 89 with arthritis, Walt mistook the certified letters for Medicare scams and stuffed them in a drawer next to expired coupons. 6 months later, a judge issued a default judgment, $47,000 in community improvement fees, plus Karen's legal costs. The ranch auctioned off. Her LLC snagged it for $50,000 on land worth $2. $3 million. By the time my boots hit American soil, construction had begun on Wildflower Estates Phase 2, luxury living where nature used to be. I returned to bulldozers devouring my childhood, diesel exhaust replacing my grandmother's roses, crews crawling over soil my great-grandfather first touched. And Karen, in her air-conditioned trailer like a conquering queen, waved at me. I stormed that trailer in 3 years of barely contained rage, still in desert boots. Karen looked up from her MacBook with fake surprise. "Oh, Rebecca, you're back early. I was just finalizing landscape plans for your old property." My old property. She handed me a phone book-thick stack, permits, drawings labeling my family cemetery as a community garden, my great-grandfather's Guadalcanal-built barn as demolished for safety. "Everything's perfectly legal, sweetie," she smiled. "Your neighbor Walt received all notices. We even have his signature." Walt's signature. My blood froze. At the courthouse, Clerk Dolores Martinez spread files like a guardian angel. This stinks worse than roadkill in August. Karen filed HOA papers a week after my deployment orders hit the base newsletter. She hunted me. And Walt, he'd been hospitalized with pneumonia for 4 months. Dolores squinted. That signature's dated 3 months ago. I visit him every Sunday. Forgery. Identity theft against a Korean War vet. Worse, 3 other military families showed the same pattern. Elderly caretakers signing while incapacitated. This was systematic racketeering targeting deployed soldiers and veterans. Veterans Justice Project attorney Sarah Chun took my call instantly. We're past civil fraud. This is federal RICO, prison time. We documented forged signatures, backdated permits, deployment stalking. Karen accelerated construction, machinery tearing through sacred ground. Then came her taunting text. A bulldozer on Grandma's grave, plus amazing how cooperative elderly neighbors become with the right motivation. She confessed in writing, identity theft, forgery, elder abuse, desecration. Sarah forwarded to FBI white-collar crime. Federal investigators requested Karen's records. She thought she was untouchable, preying on soldiers and sick old men. But she picked a fight with the federal government. Word spread through veteran networks. Other families lost farms, properties flipped while deployed. We met at Sarah's office. 7 confirmed cases, $12. 3 million stolen. Karen's ex-husband Bradley provided the legal framework. Their bitter divorce was theater. They were business partners in military family exploitation. Karen escalated. Anonymous letters calling me unstable with PTSD, suggesting I planned revenge. Neighbors avoided me. Then police swarmed my trailer on false threats and weapons stockpiling reports. Karen appeared, playing concerned neighbor. Poor Rebecca needs help. But she slipped, mentioning non-public federal details. Deputy Collins caught it, handed me Agent Martinez's card. Karen's performance handed prosecutors obstruction and false reports. Next morning, chainsaws felled our century-old oak, planted by my great-grandfather post-Guadalcanal, shading generations. Karen sipped coffee. We're planting Bradford pears, more appropriate. Then backhoes ripped through the family cemetery. Broken headstones scattered like bones. Karen on her phone. Cemetery removal ahead of schedule. No court orders, no consent, felonies, desecration, burial law violations, possibly tribal site protections. Federal marshals arrived. Crime scene text documented. Agent Martinez, this is cultural genocide, the civilian equivalent of war crimes. Evening brought private military contractors threatening kinetic solutions if I didn't back off, recorded as witness intimidation, domestic terrorism. My CO called serious allegations about my service, mental fitness, classified leaks. Karen played her nuclear card, trying to discredit me via court-martial. At Fort Hood, Colonel Mitchell revealed number 1943 land grants existed, records altered using DoD credentials. Bradley, former JAG, had hacked archives, used personnel databases to target deployments. Treason, weaponizing military systems against service members. Operation Family Shield launched. Joint Task Force, 17 families, $43 million stolen nationwide. Bradley's digital fingerprints everywhere. But he escalated. Courthouse arson destroying records. Walt kidnapped. Cooperate or the old man has an accident. IRS audits freezing accounts. Threats to troops overseas. Sarah Chun abducted and interrogated. We cracked encrypted comms. Bradley planning murders staged as accidents. Selling base security intel to foreign agents. Espionage. Corruption reached judges, commissioners, Pentagon officials. Walt sent GPS from captivity. Rescue launched. Bradley surrendered, claiming I was the traitor. Tribunal at Pentagon. Bradley in dress uniform accused me of espionage. Evidence, recordings, finances, forensics, collapsed his story. He invoked silence, stripped of rank, remanded for treason, racketeering. 6 months later, the rebuilt ranch became the Military Family Heritage Center. Walt taught kids in the barn. Bradley got life. Karen 28 years. Network collapsed. corrupt officials imprisoned. The Military Family Property Protection Act passed unanimously. Federal oversight, mandatory sentences for exploiting deployments. The center protects families nationwide. My PTSD healed through service. Another call. Funeral home targeting Gold Star widows. Send everything. We're building a national shield. The war continues, but now we have an army. Share your HOA nightmare below. You might be next featured. Subscribe to HOA Stories for more justice served to scammers targeting heroes. America never abandons those who serve. You've been watching HOA Stories, where entitled Karens get reality checks. If this gave you secondhand rage or satisfaction, like, comment, subscribe for weekly chaos.